What's up, friends? This is a second back-to-back podcast where we covered your content valuable, but is it the right kind of value? We covered how to introduce fluidity in a rigid routine, and in the end, we covered what spirit animal each of us is. Let's just start the plot. The other day, I was in the Justin Welsh workshop, and this one dude, he asked Justin, what is your morning routine if you wanted to make a full-time income online? I'm like, really? Like, that's what you're gonna ask? Like, yeah. No. There's no way, okay? Because here's what I found. The bell curve thing applies to everything. And this is one of the things where it applies. Like, people right in the start ask, what's your morning routine, right? Or like, what are some mindset tips you could give me? In the middle, maybe like you and me, we go like, okay, what are the tactics? So what's actually going on, right? But in the far end, it's like, what's the mindset you have? And like, they still ask that, you know, that's still the thing. And it's the bell curve meme, bro. Like that's why the left can't meme. By the way, dude, we're gonna go into this. That's why the left can't meme, because for something to be funny, it has to be based in reality. And a lot of the left things are not based in reality. The bell curve thing is a reality, and that's why it's funny. There you go. Fitness too, man. Like in the beginning, like bro, I remember I gained like 30 or 40 pounds in college, and I lost it. And my whole strategy, I'm not shitting you. My whole strategy for losing 30 pounds or 40 pounds was eat less and run more. And that was my strat. In the beginning, in the middle, bro, I was like, okay, what are my macros? What is my shit? Like, what are the best times? How do I get into ketosis? And it was a mess. How do I do OMAD, 1 meal a day? Mess. And then to the next one, which is just listen to your body, bro. I'm at that stage now. And it's just like I lost a little bit of weight. So it's like, just listen to your body. It'll tell you what it wants.
I literally I've been working on my whole life. And in Bali, I've been able to put on like 10 pounds of muscle from just like, I lift heavy things. I eat chicken. The three things I consume the most are chicken and waffles, sushi, and coconut water. It's just like, I just eat a bunch of the things I like and I lift heavy. Whereas like my whole life, especially in New York City, I was like, had this whole routine. I'd wake up, I'd have a coffee, I'd do 3 hours of writing, then I'd go to the gym, and then I'd go in the sauna, and then I'd do the cold shower, and I was like, I made no gains. Then I came to Bali and just put on like 10 pounds of muscle, just like maxing out enjoyment. It's like right side of the bell curve.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, it's like that. Like how in the beginning it's just post as much as you can. In the middle, it's at what time? Should I post at 7:59 or at 8:03 because of the algorithm gains? Yeah. Right? It's just post it whenever, bro. Like you and I, we're in shitty time zones for business posting at least. Like some of my best writing comes at like 9 a.m. For you, it's like whenever, right? But you need to post at like, not need, but some of the best times are like 8, 7, 9 Eastern.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's not optimal.
The big hard part for me with content is like there's a time zone between, I call it like the Riff Zone. It's called the Riff Zone. It's like between like 10 a.m. and like 4 or 5 p.m. is like that midday where like everybody's scheduled content is out already. And this is where this is where you could just like spitball tweets off your brain while you're on a walk, and it's just like raw. But when I do that, it's at like 10 or 11 p.m., 1 a.m. for Eastern time, and it doesn't hit the right crowd. But when I'm in Eastern time, like my spitball tweets that are my best tweets are going to come out at like 1 p.m. Eastern. They're going to be so much better because that's like that riff. It's the Riff Zone. That's hack.
And it hits so much. I have a weird belief that the way you feel when you post something affects how it does, even if it's the same thing. True. I believe people can feel it. What I feel kind of like in the scarcity mindset, I need more clients, it doesn't hit. But if like a client sign up that day and I write and it's like, I'm feeling good, then more clients come that way. It is the law of attraction, bro. It's like girls. Okay. So blink twice if your girlfriend's not in the room. Okay, great. We can talk about this. Okay. So it's like you're texting this girl, but they won't text you back, but it's like, whatever. So you talk to one in real life. And while you were talking, boom, they DM you out once. It's like the universe, like they know what's going on, man. When you have options, the universe just knows, and it gives you more options. To who is given something, everything will be given, but who has little, everything will be taken away from them. Something like that.
So are you big into manifestation then, law of attraction? That's what you just explained.
I guess so. I guess, bro. But the thing is, though, I don't have hippie enough hair to pull that off right now. So I just can't do it. I'm at a hippie
We
apartment,
don't do manifestation. We just do MBTI.
which is manifestation for dudes. Like
Yeah.
manifestation for like we're in the middle of the bell curve is what Marcus is trying to say. We haven't got to the end.
I just saw I saw a tweet that I sent to my other ISTP friend that I didn't even send it to. I should have. It was essentially, if you're an INFJ, ENFJ, or ISTP, get the losers out of your life. You're mirroring them. Find real idols. So it's like ISTPs have losers in their life and you're mirroring them. You need to go find real idols.
You know, the funny thing is, it could apply to anybody, but because it is, you mentioned me, I'm like,
Yeah.
so true, bestie.
So true, bestie. Yep.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah, yes, baby, say it, girl. Let's go. Yeah.
And I love how
Wait.
she named 4 personalities. She named like 30% of the curves. So it's like gonna apply to like almost everybody.
So that's like the middle of the iceberg. You want to go deeper on the iceberg? Great marketing. Because it is like, she knows that shit applies to everyone, but it's just fun.
It's genius. Astrology's genius. It's like $1 billion industry made off of like feelings. It's so smart.
I had a girl once that she was so into astrology. And at that point, now I think that it's kind of true, right? I'm shifting to the end of the bell curve. But at the beginning, I was like, that shit that's like, might as well read me some Pokemon cards. Doesn't exist. But, bro, she let me write my astrology letter, or I don't know how you say it. But man, I was like, damn, that's so true. Like everything was just some point, except for the point she's like, you treat everyone equally. It's like, nah, I don't do that. But it's like the rest of it was just like so on point. Has somebody ever read your astrology thing? Or you've done that?
Yeah, I have.
Well, how accurate is it?
Like half of it, I'm like, oh, true, and then the other half, I'm like, oh, not really right now, but I could see it on another day, and then I'm just like, oh, that was pretty accurate.
Is your girlfriend like into crystals and stuff?
She likes crystals, but she doesn't buy it like hardcore. I think we should just like when we're at the store, it's like, ooh, I'm gonna buy this, and then we put it on the desk and then just like say it helps.
Maybe it does. Placebo effect on yourself. I believe doesn't need to be true for it to be useful. I think, have we covered that into the pod? Like the alter ego stuff? No, we haven't?
We might have. I don't know.
But anyway, to all of the 3 listeners that actually listen consistently, I'm sorry because I'm going to say this again. To everyone else, this is a cool story. So I'm an introvert by nature, right? Like very introverted. I go and sit at the cafe corner alone. I go to restaurants alone. Like I go to parties and I like feel uncomfortable at some point. I'm like, okay, I'm going home. Like that's it. But that is not very good for what I do. Like right now I'm talking, right? There's somebody else in the interaction. So I need to be someone more open for this to be fun. So I have an alter ego. And that alter ego just pops up. Like I imagine I'm him. I'm an extroverted dude. I'm the dude that's just left the party. I'm always just like really eloquent. He knows his shit. Well, I try to be at least, or that's how I imagine him to be. And I try to imagine that when I write or when I post and when I create. So we were covering, I believe, doesn't need to be true to be useful. Having the alter ego, believing in crystals fucking work, or having your morning routine, if it helps you, then do it. Like everybody has this weird tricks that they do, this weird lucky underwear, lucky socks, lucky shirt, or whatever. Bro, embrace your weirdness. Do that shit because your brain will believe it, and it's true. I had a friend too in school or whatever. He always like he was a weak guy, as in like physically, but he always like said it. He declared it, and every time we played soccer or whatever, he would always get hurt. It was like he was manifesting the bad things into his life. But you could do that the opposite way. You can trick yourself into doing shit that doesn't make sense to anybody else, but doesn't need to be true to be useful.
Me and Julia have a word for this. It's everyone knows that person who just like attracts the most negative outcomes of every situation. We call them they're magnets for negativity. They're mag negative, and it's because it's the same person. Like it's the person who's gonna go get stung by a bee. Then they're going to get rear-ended. Then they're going to lose their wallet. Then their phone's going to get cracked. and then all of a sudden their business falls apart because it's everyone else's fault. It's the client, and then they break their elbow, and then their bike gets stolen. You know what I mean? Like, it just keeps going and going. It's like they're magnets for negativity, and it starts with self-talk and like just doing like the default actions that, you know what I mean, when no one's paying attention. But like, it all compounds. It's like the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. I don't love that quote, but it kind of makes sense here. It's like there's certain people that just like they seem to have all the luck, and then there's other people that seem to have the worst luck, and it's the same people. It's weird.
I like that you said something about talking about clients, because I think people blame people a lot, and they very loose with the term tire kickers. Oh, these guys are not serious. They are tire kickers. But like, you also walk into the store and you don't buy an iPhone. You also opt into funnels you're never going to buy from. Does that mean you're a tire kicker to everyone? No, you buy shit. Even people who get into $100,000 in debt without thinking about it, yeah, maybe they struggle buying a $1,000 offer, but they still take $100,000 in debt. So I've been a belief that I don't think is true, but it's certainly useful. I have is, there are no tire kickers. My offer just needs to be better. It shifts the focus into me. And it's not true. There are, right? But it's not useful to think it. So don't think it. Tire kickers may be annoying. Of course they're annoying. But shift the focus into yourself. You're going to do better anyway.
Yeah. I think accountability is huge too for this. It's like, I used to do this too, where I had a client who didn't work out, and I wanted to do everything I could to blame the client. But in reality, it's like, how can I improve my process here? Whether it's sales for the tire kickers, or it's marketing to convert people, or it's retaining and doing something along the relationship to retain them. Like, you always want to blame the client. Like, you want to say they're a tire kicker, but why didn't you just have more touch points? Why didn't you have a better offer? You know what I mean? Why aren't you customizing for the offer for that person, right? Why didn't you reach out to them? Why didn't you call them if you have their number, right? It's like, if someone signed up for your emails, why didn't you call them? Why didn't you? There's so many little things that you can implement in every process of your business that help. You just have to, it all starts with taking accountability and realizing that nothing is the client's fault. It's always your fault. Yes. And then you go and improve every little thing of your business, and you treat every lead, every conversation, every sale, every content, every churn, everything is a lesson. If you cannot treat that as a lesson and make a 1% improvement somewhere, then it is just a fail and a loss. Because if you
That's right.
But if you improve 1% on every little piece, then your business will just get infinitely better. And as long as you stay alive, it's an infinite game. It's a war of attrition. You just outlast your opponents. You will reach the top.
I'm going to ask Marcos a question that I want you, the listener, to ask yourself as I walk through this. And then you ask me that question. But Marcos, what is one thing, person listening, what is one thing you are not taking as much accountability from as you should, that you know you should improve?
I think for me is I don't take accountability with doing marketing or content or anything that has to do with marketing. I used to. I think I often put it towards like, oh, I have enough inbound, or oh, it's the time zones like Bali, or oh, I don't know what to talk about. Like, I always make some sort of excuse, but in reality, it's like I could just do it. I could just do it. You actually said something to me once that like resonated, and it wasn't related to this, but I remember I told you, I'm like, oh, I kind of want to do jujitsu, but I didn't do it. You were like, if you wanted to do jujitsu, you would already have done it. I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
it's like,
that's true.
You need to be told how it is.
I was in Miami with Lobo, and I've been training jiu-jitsu for like 1 month or so, but then I quit because not a fan of having people's ass on my face sometimes, but I get back to it. And what happened there was I told Lobo, yeah, I tried jiu-jitsu. I didn't really like it. It wasn't my thing. He's like, oh, well, how long did you do it for? I'm like, I went to like a month worth of classes. He's just like, son, that's not trying. Do it for 6 months. That's trying. So I feel like people's definition of trying isn't actually try. It's just the equivalent of when you break something as a kid and you want to put it and fix it just enough so that when the next person uses it, it'll break. That's the equivalent of it. It's like you're not taking accountability.
Yeah, it's the same thing with business too. And I actually talked about this in my YouTube video that just came out, where I was like sticking to one business idea for long enough, and basically you need to change the definition of trying, right? Like for me, it was like I started an e-com store. I started a an agency, and I tried it for like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and it like didn't work out, and then I just moved on. But if I had if I had the definition of try be like 3 months or 6 months, I guarantee you I would have succeeded with one of them way earlier. But my definition of try was like putting in like 3 or 4 weeks, creating a logo, creating a website, sending like 4 cold emails, and then being like, yeah, it didn't work. Next.
Yeah. Same thing with offers, bro. It's like, this is why people stay for 3 months crafting their damn offer. It's that, oh, I sent it out, didn't work. Well, like when you say send it out, that's a lot of nuance. What did you do? Did you actually try to validate it? Like what, how did you try to validate it? Was it 1 DM? Was it 1,000 DMs? Was it 1 post? Was it 10 posts?
Yeah.
People don't try enough. Like, you know, like percentages sent, that has to be 100 of something for you to be like, okay, I have enough data, enough to even make a guess if this works or not. Like, you have to try things.
Data is huge. I just tweeted out this morning. I tweeted like I've been becoming more and more of a numbers guy. Ryan actually replied to it. He's like, welcome to the dark side.
Of course he did.
But like I've just been making way more data-driven decisions, both for me, but also on behalf of clients. It's just like no decisions in business should be off of a feeling. Like there's really no decisions that need to be made off of feeling. There's numbers for everything. If you dig deep enough, there's numbers everywhere. Sales, marketing, retention, fulfillment, sales, I already said sales twice, double the sales. But like there's numbers everywhere. Like you'll know where to improve if you just look at the numbers. You're like, that number, like I look at my numbers and I'm like, oh, my close rate's 17%. That's shit. What should I do today? Probably improve my script. And then if I improve my script and it doesn't get better, okay, what do I need to improve? Maybe my lead quality. How do I improve my lead quality? Perhaps my content or my channel. Go do that. Or my targeting on my ads. Go do that. Right? Like you could just look at the data and be like, what do I improve to that? It's so easy. Just like sit down and look at it.
Exactly. No, I like that. I like that. Yeah, like, and I'm not the numbers guy. Like, I don't find it fun. But you know what's the real like interesting part about that? Yeah, it's like I'm suffering right now. Thanks. But the little like nuance to that, it's we're in creative marketing professions. So sometimes the actual move that makes sense numerically is not doing anything. It's resting. It's going out for a walk. It's chilling, working out. Because then you know that increases the chances of you coming back and writing something fire on the page. You know, so it's a weird thing, man. Because like day trading, you have to be there, right? It's like you have to be there. But it's almost like in our profession, it's the less you work, the better you work. It's kind of this weird mix.
This is interesting. I don't know if you're a Marvel guy, but in Marvel they have what's called the sacred timeline, right? And the sacred timeline, if you think about that as your business and where this is where you're starting and this is where you're supposed to go, right? This is your $1 million business or your $100 million business. You have the sacred timeline, which is just to the goal. But in Marvel, they have what's called the TPA, and there's all these branch timelines. And I think of those as like business problems. It's like, go, we're good. Okay, my close rate's down. And what they do in the show in Loki, they go and they prune the timeline and they basically get rid of it. So every time it branches out, they just fucking kill it. So it's like if you have your business and you're going and you have normal, everything's good. All right, now my close rate just dipped. Boom, hit that number. What can I fix? Okay, close rate's back to 30%. Prune. Next. Oh, my content, I have no leads. Branch timeline up. How can I fix that? Probably make better fucking content. Boom, prune it. Next. And you can just keep going. You just look at the numbers. And it's almost like having like, you ever just see like the back cave where it has all the computers? It's like you just look at it and you're like, what's wrong with my business today? You can just kind of do that. And just like, you can do that at any level too. If you're at $0 a month or you're at $1 million a month, you just look at the numbers. If you
100%.
You know what I mean? If you have no clients this month, what do you need to do? You probably need more book calls. And then you just go into the numbers. How many leads do I have? How many DMs did I send? Right? How many follow-ups did I send? What's my show rate? Like you can literally just get the numbers for anything. It's so good.
Another one about that is you could tweak the numbers that you feel like tweaking. There's why I personally don't believe in content days. Like the only scheduled content I really have is this part. But content days are just like whenever I'm feeling like it. Because sometimes I'll wake up and I just don't feel creative. But it's like, yeah, I'll do a Zapier integration. You know, I'll do something for the landing page or whatever. This is why like you see everything that's wrong. You're like, okay, what do I fix today? But you could also be like, what do I feel like fixing today? And then I don't feel guilty if oh, Tuesday is recording content day. Maybe if I don't, that's fine.
Yeah. And if you're like, man, I just never have a content day, hire the birdhouse. Every day's a content day at the birdhouse. Keep that in. Keep that in.
Quinn, which client do you like more, Quinn? Which one are you going? Which? There you go. This is the dilemma. Are you gonna keep this shit in? Because, like MJ said, I took that personally. No, it's all good. We're all about promoting our shit in this pod. I respect that.
This pod, I feel like the great thing about this pod is like we're always just like talking about anything, and then we always relate it back. We always relate it back to our actual businesses because that's what we can actually. It's the only thing we're experts on. I don't know shit about shit, and neither do you, except our businesses. You know what I mean? So if we could talk about fucking Elon Musk, and then just dial it back to like the birdhouse or like saying cash, it's like, bang. It's, you know what I mean? I never want to, I know you're the same ways. I never want to talk about shit I don't know anything about. So it's like,
that's weird. How
can I relate something I do know, or like something I read or something I have experienced back to the point, which is our businesses. So that's, it's pretty cool. Which reminds me, I wrote on, I started creating this pod thread for this podcast because if you don't know, we're recording back to back. I was listening to Genghis Khan's story. And absurd story. Naturally, I'm a man. Babe, I just want a coffee.
I wonder what would happen if he taught his sons better to keep his empire. Would I be Mongol? Would you be Mongol?
Babe, can we go and get dinner now? Like, but anyways,
can we have sex now? Can you stop talking about Genghis fucking Khan?
Can you stop talking about Napoleon? Anyway, I was listening to the Genghis Khan story, and I think he invented. I would have to go see. It probably existed before, but he was one of the first people that did incentives in business. And the way he did this is, all of the Khans before him would go and they would lead their herds and they would go and pillage villages, right? And they would take all their shit. And what they did was they would just release so what would happen is the people who lived in the village would flee, all the men would flee, and then they would go and take everything from the village and then go after those guys. But what Genghis Khan did was like, you guys get all of the spoils and rewards and like pillage the village, bring everything to me, and I'm going to now redistribute all of the reward we got from this conquer. I'm going to redistribute it based on your performance in the raid. So it was like, how many other Mongols did you kill? How many people did you kidnap? Like, how many houses did you set on fire? Like, did you hit your sales close rate? Like, I'm pretty sure Genghis Khan invented incentivized leadership, which was interesting.
No. I'm telling you, Genghis Khan invented, I'm in the trenches. Yeah. That's what he invented.
Well, it's insane too, because he was young at the time, like 19, 20, 21, whatever. But I thought it was interesting that like before that, like all the prior Khans, they just were like, you go and take whatever you want. And he was like, no, I'm going to redistribute it based on performance. And it essentially, all of his army was more incentivized to go and kill more people, do the job better, get more of the spoils, and like they just performed better. It's like, it's such a basic concept to us now because it's so, we're in 2023, but this was in like 1100, right? Like this stuff, people had to like create these kinds of mindsets. So that's my Genghis Khan story of the day.
Genghis Khan was a crazy motherfucker, bro. He used to conquer villages, but he didn't want it to make them strong. So he only fed them like vegetarian-based diets, while Mongols only ate meat, milk, cheese, egg. I don't know if eggs, but you know what I mean, right? He was bulking. He was a bulky boy.
He killed at age 12. He killed his older half brother because he was jealous of him. Because he was essentially just like, he didn't want to be told what to do, so he just killed his older half brother. He just killed him. I'm like, oh. And then he went to prison, and then he broke out of prison at like 16. Like, what is going on?
You know what we do now? We look for Genghis Khan MBTI type. What do you think he is?
He's got to be like an ENFJ.
He is an ENTJ.
Almost.
Yeah, you're
tactical. I should have known.
Bro, there you go, dude. You were almost there. I was like, I had no clue, but you were like, you almost got it. Like,
well, yeah, because he's to lead, millions of people. You got to be an extrovert. You got to be intuitive to do the shit that he did. The J, I kind of made that up, but I should have got the T instead of the F because he was definitely more tactical than feeling.
Yeah, that exactly. Dude, I love this test. It's so accurate. It's so
good.
nice.
It's accurate. I'm not gonna lie. It's accurate. I've been able to get to people.
Yeah. Do you make your team do it? Did you ask them for it?
Yeah. So my team is one of them is an INFP just like me, and the other one's an INFJ. So on my now the Birdhouse hiring application, I actually have MBTI on there.
Me too. It's so nice. Yeah, it's like
I'm not gonna hire based on that, but I just want to see because I'm like, oh, what if I need an extrovert on my team? Then I can only filter for extroverts. What if I need an introvert this time? I can filter for introverts. Like I know what I need, but people listening, they won't know. So don't.
There you go.
Because I'll know.
You have so many slick ways of promoting your own shit. It's actually remarkable. Like every time, I'm like, I never see it coming. Like I see the promos coming with other people. It's like, by the way, I have this program, but with you, it's like, I don't know. It's like, let me tell you what my mom did when I was a kid, bro. When I was a kid, I didn't eat eggs ever. I hated eating eggs, and my mom was concerned because she was like, eggs are really good for you. So she used to do this kind of sandwich that's like potato based with some ham and really good. But like she mixed it up with like boiled eggs. And I ate a shit ton of eggs thanks to that. But I didn't want it to be eggs. So I'm like, I don't eat eggs. But I do like this sandwich, Mom. Thanks. She's like, it's okay. No eggs here. It's just potatoes. I'm like, it just fucking ate all that shit. And that's what you do with your promos, man. It's like, I don't want to listen to promotional podcasts. I don't want to get pitched on stuff, but you're just like, just slam it in, just slide it in. It's like really slick.
Well, this is good training because something I tweeted was content and advertising are becoming the same thing now. Whereas like all of the best advertisements they feel like content. You know what I mean? Like and I use Mr. Beast as the example because he's really the pioneer of content, right? In his video where it was every country competed in like an Olympic Games kind of thing. And there was an event where they were fencing and it was like fucking Antigua versus Guatemala, whatever. They're fencing, right? And he's like, this is a great time to talk about festivals. And he's just like, they're literally fencing. Like they're fencing, like this is like 183 countries fighting for $1 million. And he's like, by the way, I have chocolate. And it's just like, it's so natural because there's actually content going on. But he's also, by the way, like he has the product placement. And it's genius. And I think content and advertising nowadays are just becoming more similar where it's not just like, back in the day, it was very much like TV, commercial, content, advertising. Now they're very much one and the same these days. And you even see it with Fortnite. Like they had the Fortnite event and it's like a Marshmallow concert or something. And you're like, you're playing a game, but you're also being advertised at the same time. You know what I mean? It's like, it feels like an experience. So like in the podcast, it's very much an experience. Like 22 episodes in, when have we ever paused this to do a paid sponsorship? Never. Because we're just like talking about our businesses anyway and giving advice the whole time. It's so natural. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I know what you mean. And the cool thing about that and a useful thing about that is doing things that are close to you, that are part of your personality. McGregor has the whiskey. I'm sorry. But it's like, he's Irish, bro.
Yeah.
Of fucking course he's going to have whiskey.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So, or the Kill Crew people, right? Colty and Marco.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's combat, right? Of course they can pull that off smoothly. Like you and I, we're in Twitter or X or whatever. It's like, bro, we're always going to talk about it. It's related to something we do.
Yeah, like it's so natural. I'm not like sitting here like, how can I talk about my business today? It just comes up, you know what I mean? Which is the beauty of the medium that we're doing the content in. Maybe that's something that the listener can do is like, how can I mix my medium with my business so that it feels more natural? But like the Conor McGregor point's great. Is like he'll be at a press conference and then he'll just have Proper 12 next to him. Like he doesn't have to do anything. It's content. The advertisement is the content. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like what business are you in right now, and how can you mix it with like the things you actually like? I don't know if it's you're a fitness dude. It's like the best fitness coaches, by the way, game on this. If you're a fitness coach, you don't sell fitness, you sell lifestyle. It's like, bro, you're already fit. Take your shirt off. Right, just be at the beach, do that thing. That is fun. Even if you're a coach, whatever, you don't sell coaching, you sell lifestyle. I split tested 2 emails, bro. How to use DMs to book motherfucking calls. 0 sales, no responses. The other one is, by the way, I have this script by DMs that books calls, and because of that, I bought an apartment in cash and took a picture of the apartment, and boom, a ton of sales. You don't sell your thing. You sell lifestyle.
A great fucking the pretty much the OG of this in the fitness industry. He really figured this out before anybody else. Was Kino Body, the intermittent fasting guy. Like, he did the whole like Batman lifestyle mansion video with the supercars and the women and the fighting, and he was just walking around shirtless. And he's like, by the way, I only work out 3 times a week and drink coffee and eat chocolate and like do all that shit. And like, it was literally, he was selling the dream lifestyle. Like, I barely work out, I'm jacked, and I'm rich. And he's selling like a fitness program, but the caveat is that his fitness program actually worked. So it's like, his marketing was genius around the lifestyle, but it had nothing to do with the actual stuff that it actually worked, the fitness. So it's interesting. It's like genius marketing with good product. It's just like, it's hundreds of millions of dollars. It really is.
100%. And a lot of big accounts are only good at one, which is why Lexi Cash is such a prevalent team, as in, you make a ton of money. No, you have a ton of followers, but you're poor. Yeah. It's because you got good at the thing you do. You don't know how to sell it. So it's like you don't sell it. Yeah, that's the problem. It's a completely different skill set.
This is why I think Tesla does so well. It's like their genius marketing is like, Elon Musk is the most marketable man ever. Like, he's always got some sort of attention, negative or positive, all the fucking time, and he's just memeing. In the cars, do stupid shit. Like, you can play fart noises in the horns. Like, you can play video games in there. Like, it's such genius marketing, but the product is the best. It's the best electric car. So if you mix good product and good marketing, you're gonna make a lot of money. You'll make a lot with just one, to be honest. But if you have both, it's like, woof, you're good.
Yeah. Also, why scammers make a lot of money, because even they don't have a good product, they're damn good at marketing.
Imagine the scammers just put a little effort into having a good product.
Yeah. Just imagine the marketers hire the Ryan. That's all you need to do. That's what I did. You know? Send the invoice. Okay. Well, man, I had a great point of this, but I lost it. Shit. Okay. What else you got? Oh, bro, in the beginning of the pod, you said, wait, go.
I was just going to say, I only slept like 4 hours. I stayed up till 2 a.m. watching soccer. And I'm like, I'm sticking it to the optimizers today. I stayed up all night watching soccer, and here I am, back-to-back pods.
Yeah, dude, and we're in minute 35, and we said, how about we do it tomorrow? But then we started having this moment, you and I, we just looked in the eyes, grabbed hands digitally, and be like, let's do it together. Let's go. Yeah, let's just do it. Let's go. Okay, you said in the beginning you write for 3 hours. How the fuck do you write for 3 hours? I write for 1, and I'm like,
I used to write 3 hours when I was in my...
Oh, okay, when you were young.
When
you were in your glory days.
Yeah, when I was like when I was in the first 6 months of my business, I used to write for more than 3, like 3 to 4 hours a day, every day on like, so what I would do is I'd wake up. I had a 500 square foot apartment. So the size of the room that I'm in right now is my whole apartment in New York City. I would wake up, get out of bed, brush my teeth, put a whole pot of coffee to brew, like that big, a big ass pot of coffee to brew, walk over to my laptop, open up Tweet Hunter, open up Twitter, open up everything. All right, grab the pot, pour a cup, sit down, write for an hour, go back, fill it up, sit down another hour, and I drink a whole pot of coffee before like 11 a.m. or before 10 a.m. Then I would go to the gym, and then I would go take calls the entire second half of the day. I did that every day for like 6 months. And that's how I hit 30K a month.
Damn.
That's it. That was it.
Okay. That's sick. Oh my God.
The best part of it too is the punchline is that the coffee maker was the most expensive thing I owned, because Julia, my girlfriend, bought it for me. It was Smeg, and SMEG is like a really expensive high-end like retro coffee maker. It was like a $250 coffee maker. Other than my computers, it was the most expensive thing I owned. So I lived with my computer and my coffee maker next to each other, and I just did that. That's it. And I got the giant Cafe Bustelo party size giant jug of coffee grounds, and I would just every morning.
What do you take your coffee with? Splenda, sugar, cream, milk?
I would just put unsweetened almond milk in it like a serial killer. And I actually got to a point for like a month or 2 where I was just like black Cafe Bustelo all day. Like
no sweetener.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, I was on like serial killer mode for a little bit. Like, no.
Bro, that was your Rocky cutscene mode. Holy shit.
Dude, I miss those days.
Oh, those were the days, of course, bro. I wake up at like like 7 or so at home. I was like my parents back home, like my childhood house, and then I remember go down, just maybe get some sun, walk a little bit, go back, sit on my computer. I had a basket, but it's like a wooden basket so that I could put my laptop on top of it, and I had this shitty ass mechanical keyboard, bro. Like if you use the Mac keyboard, it's awesome, but I just can't use any other keyboard anymore. It's just so clunky, so bad. It's just so not good. And then I had my mouse on it, and that was like my orthopedic setup. And I would work, but you know how you work, and if your desk is wide, you put your leg on top of the desk while you work, so you're like this, right? So it's like Mark is like, I do that all the time, right? So like, me too. So, yeah, me too. She's like, put it over, it's like she's man spreading over it. So it's like used to work like that, just write, because I read the Lattimore course, 500 words a day to create that habit. And then I go down, cook me some breakfast, and then it'd be like 4 eggs. It'll be some sausages, some hamburger patties. I was fat. A lot of cheese and a lot of just tomato sauce. Eat it while I was watching The Office. Go back to do that. Work out. Call it a day. Those were the days, man.
Best days, man. Especially, like, I would get back from the gym after my writing session. I would order the Chipotle while I was doing my sauna. So right after my workout, I'd hop in the sauna. I'd order the Chipotle. I lived 2 blocks away. I walked. I didn't have a car in New York. I sold my car before I went to New York City. And I would order the Chipotle. I'd walk back to my apartment. The Chipotle would get there. As I got there, I'd eat it. Then I'd shower. And then I'd sit down and like, all right, time to take calls for fucking 5 hours a day, 5 hours of the rest of the day. And then by the time it was that, it was like the end of the day. It was like dinner time. And I would either have air fryer, orange chicken, or I'd make some bullshit like potatoes, or I'd go to Julia and she would cook for me like all the time. Like, it was such a grind, but it was so fun. It was like not making any money, but it was like you're making enough and you were living. And then eventually you hit like 10K a month and you start to 20 and 30, and then you start to hire, and like you lose that. You really got to enjoy the journey, man.
Yeah, so you get rich and it sucks. you're like
That's like what's the
just like, I don't know. I'm sorry. It's just like the people.
it's like a
Bro, I could just imagine. You know how imagine someone listening to this? Oh, this is gonna be so mean. It's like the guy that's always been wanting to like be with this girl, and this girl just broke up with his boyfriend, and she's like, oh my god, like he was the best. I love her. And the guy's just sitting there like, fuck, I hate my life. This is horrible, and I do not want it to be in this position ever. Fuck you. But I'm still gonna be here listening. Yeah, I mean, man, that was fun. There's a Picasso quote. I don't know if it's a Picasso quote. With this is the but I don't know though podcast. So, but I don't know though. But there was this quote that said that Picasso thought that his best work was the one he made when he just first started. Like his first works were the best. Sometimes I feel that about my writing. I look at my writing in the beginning, my work from the beginning, and I think, man, that was pure, unadulterated, raw JK. And I like that stuff. Right now, it's like I picked up some habits. I kind of know how I write. I know my own voice sometimes, but it's like, do I know my own voice sometimes? So I feel like sometimes my best work is in the beginning. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I think, I don't know, like, I work in sprints, like, I think I'll have just, like, days or even sometimes weeks where I'll just be like, I couldn't make a good piece of content if I hit me in the face right now. And then there's other times where I sit down and I'm like, banger video, banger tweet for client, like, just banger idea, banger SOP, like all bang. And then I just have like droughts. So for me, it really comes in sprints. That reminds me of a quote. Since we mentioned a quote, there's a quote by I think it was Steve Jobs and it's Elon Musk at the same time. But it was those who think they're crazy enough to change the world are the ones who usually do. And I wish I said it on the last podcast because we talked about that, but I remember the quote now. It's interesting. It's like those who are crazy enough to think they can are the ones who usually do.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. When you said, I wanna zoom in on that. You said there's some days in which you can't create anything, and there's some days when you can just banger, 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 banger. So, like every Asian kid, my parents got me into the piano. So I was playing piano when I was a kid, and I was trying to play the piece, but it wouldn't play. Like I just couldn't do it well. I would mess up for hours, and then I'd take a nap, wake up, and when I played it, it was perfect. Because sometimes you just don't see problems. You just don't see solutions. And Quinn, let's put this over here if we can. I don't know if it's copyrighted, but there's a GIF, bro. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a circle in the middle, and then there's like a circle going around. So it starts with you seeing many circles, but eventually the circles turn from pink into red, and nothing changes. It has actually not changed. And then the circles disappear. It's like an optical illusion because it like tricks your brain. So 3 people could be looking at the same thing, but it's like they're not seeing the same thing. Yeah. And I think about that a lot with problems sometimes. It's like the problem is just like the circle going around, but I understand that when you come with a different state of mind, you look at the same thing, but you're not seeing the same thing. So this is why I implement breaks in my work, or I implement doing other stuff in my work and not thinking about them, because I know that sometimes you can just go back and the problem that took you 3 hours to think of, it's like 1 or 2 clicks away from being fixed. You live in an era of mistakes are easily fixed and things can be easily created. So the way you think about things is way more important than like how much you force yourself to think about things. So this is why like when you force writing, it's never good. When you force videos, it just doesn't work. Like right now, bro, what you and I were doing, let me tell you guys. So we recorded a pod, but Marcos is moving back next week, right? So he's like, can we record 2 pods this week? I'm like, sure, let's do it, right? So we scheduled one for tomorrow. Anyway, we're recording this, and then we stopped, but then we waited for a minute, and then we started talking, and it's like, okay, that's a good theme. We started recording. So we're in minute 45 right now, and we just felt like that. But we wouldn't have done it if we just recorded it and saved 2 hours right off the bat. You don't decide when inspiration hits, right? But it's like when it hits, you go, right? Because you see it, because you're not going to see it later, or you might not be seeing it right now. So take a break. You know, like just act when you feel it. It's a lot based on feel.
That's also why I like having bigger blocks of nothingness. It's like, for example, like these pods, sometimes they go 49 minutes and sometimes they go an hour and 5 minutes. Why is that? It's because like we give ourselves enough time. Like for me, at least, I try not to schedule anything like right after or before. And I'm like, I try to give it time to breathe. Sometimes we're in a flow where it's like, it gets to an hour 5 and we're just running, you know what I mean? We're going. Sometimes it gets to 49 and we're just like, we're nothing else to set. So it's like, if you give yourself more free time to think, you can get these more like bigger inspirations and little moments for yourself. So
we had that before. Like in the first pod, like objectively, we had less things written down than we do now.
Yeah.
But in the last pod, we actually took a break for like 2 minutes. I said, okay, let's leave a mark here, because we're like, Marcus, do you have any topics? He's like,
yeah, last pod we had like let's come up with things written down, and we were done after like 45 minutes. Then this pod we're at 47 minutes, and we didn't have anything written down. It's just like,
yeah,
it's pretty crazy. I want to do one of these pods where we're just like, I want to have like a cigar and like an espresso martini. I just want to start riffing. I just want to talk. Like, if I could get some juices in me, I want to see how the pod would turn out. That's gonna be a future experiment.
Here's what I'm saying, bro. Here's what the people want. The people want the big coffee mug right next to you again. They want that, Marcos. They also want the hamburger, fucking 6X chicken. That's what we should bring up to these pots.
I'm down. Once I'm in Miami, I'm gonna have much more of I'm gonna set my routine up like my studio. My office is gonna be like my old studio apartment. It's just how can I replicate that feeling?
Yeah. Sometimes you need that. It's also like right now, bro, I'm at this hippie apartment in Poland. It's not mine. And a mistake I made last time is trying to keep a rigid routine to a fluid environment. So I thought, let me get a co-working space, put everything in place, have my coffee at the same time, do my things at the same time. It actually really stressed me out because in a fluid, it's like I don't know, it was just hard, right? So I just couldn't place it. But now I just accepted the fact that things are going to be fluid and I'm just going to have to adapt. So I'm staying with a few friends, I'm sleeping on the couch. That's not exactly, Ryan Johnson, Huberman type of optimization. But I feel great. I'm doing my thing. And I don't work at a specific environment. I just go to the coffee shop. Sometimes the internet's quite shitty, but I just do my best. I feel like whatever you are right now is like a little bit more fluidity, and accepting fluidity is actually quite good for productivity. So
That's going to be
good thing to do.
The Molina method.
That's right. Just go to Eastern Europe, sleep on a fucking couch.
Do you have you ever messed with feng shui?
What is that?
So feng shui is, and I don't want to butcher it, but it's essentially like how you set up your working spaces and your living spaces for energy. And if you noticed, like in maybe the first 10 pods, my background was this wall to my right. But now my background is these suitcases. And the reason being is I am now facing the entrance to my office. Now I actually backed out into a corner of the room where I can see everything, and I feel like I'm commanding the room. I feel much safer in my work, and I feel like I'm just much in a more of a creative space. Whereas before, the entrance to the office was actually to my right, so my peripherals I always just saw outside. I saw my pool, I saw bugs, I saw my girlfriend walking around, I could see rice farmers, I could see the cleaners, I could see everything from the peripheral of my eye. And I never felt in command of the room. So I switched it to this way, and my productivity easily went up 20%. Placebo, maybe, don't care. Went up 20%.
It works.
It worked.
It works. Okay, all right. Let's pull this off. What is one weird thing, this is kind of weird, but what is one weird thing you do that it's it's placebo? That is it's not actual use, but it still works for you.
Placebos. Oh, easily. Having my tabs, my Google Chrome tabs, opening the exact same ones in the same order. So for me, it's if they're not in the same order, I feel like my entire work is unorganized. And I just can't really get anything done. But when they're there in the right order, I feel like I'm just locked in. There's got to be some science there, man.
I'm sure there is. I guess
My order is calendar, Google Calendar, my Excel calendar, so my to-do list, then my content scheduler, then Twitter. And it's always those four in that order.
There you go. I before I get to work, I do to my hips, if you stretch, they pop. Just right. So what I do before I get to work, bro, is I shoot specifically two, and the first one needs to be to the right, 2 kicks to the air. So I would kick, the other one, and I'm ready because I'm in my ninja mode. It's blood memory from my past of fucking Asian warrior. So I just have that in me, and it's so useful.
Have you ever played with the past life thing? For me, I think in my past life, I was a penguin.
You were?
A penguin.
Why?
I don't know. You ever just have a feeling?
Was it a female or a male penguin?
Doesn't matter.
It does matter.
I don't know. I have to think
okay.
harder.
Well, what was probably male? Was it one of those penguins that are that don't have yellow hairs, or were the yellow?
No yellow hairs. I'm thinking club penguin, bald, just black and white, and
okay.
its belly.
Okay. Why do you think you were a penguin?
I don't know. I think part of it is being born in January. I always felt like it was a winter animal. I'm a Capricorn. I always felt like January snow, so I always felt like it was a snow animal. And I've always drawn to penguins. I don't know. And this actually, it manifested itself in 2021 when I bought those Pudgy Penguin NFTs when they were at 0.01 ETH, and I ended up holding them and selling them at 4 ETH a piece, and I made $30,000-$40,000. So that was the first big chunk of money I ever made. It was a penguin NFT. So now I'm just I was definitely a penguin.
Damn. Okay, bro. I'm a dragon. I'm 100%. That's my fucking spirit animal. No, but the ones that fly. The ones that. But I'm probably a water dragon. It's called water, wind, and fire. But here's the thing, man. One time, I was born in the year of the dragon, So 2000. So like I go to a restaurant and like this Korean woman, which I like to think she was like a shaman or something, but she like just looked at my eyebrows and she goes like, "Oh, they're the shape of the dragon." So I'm like, "Oh fuck yeah, I'm a dragon, yo, let's go." Shut up, don't say anything. You cannot you cannot comment. You just said you were a penguin, bro. You cannot make that face to me. Okay, so she said that, bro. And one time I was so sad. And I was like, because I couldn't, it just bothered me. The fucking fact that I couldn't find my spirit animal bothered me at that point. I swear, bro. It's like everybody knew it. It's like, oh, I'm a wolf. So oh, I'm a fox. But I just like those. I wanted to be like a jaguar or something, but it didn't resonate with me. So I was lifting, and through the deadlift, this realization comes, man. My spirit animal was a dragon. So I'm like, oh yes, that is me. Should we cut the pod over here?
Yeah, the pod's over.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.